Hi everyone, this is Dave with Salty Cat Gaming. In today's episode, we're playing a game of Don't Look Back by Blacksite Studios. We've played quite a bit of these games using the older rule set, which this is falling apart. You can't quite see it, but pages are starting to come out. And now we're going to be playing with the newer rule set, which was released within the last year. Very similar rules. This is more of a compilation of all the rules that they've done and little releases they've done throughout the history of the game, and with a nice, thick, hardbound book. If you haven't seen us play these, this is a cooperative or solo horror game where you try to survive or accomplish a different campaign for every scenario. We play for a limited number of rounds. In this particular scenario, this will be a custom one. It's one where I've combined some of the rules from other scenarios I've published, as well as a new rule, which we'll go over in a second, along with custom background. So the scenario, Don't Look Back. This scenario is Dead Feet Fred. It's going to be a trilogy. Scenario 1, let's find the artifact before we die. The story. Thomas's addiction caused him to lose a lot of things, from his friends and family to his life as a farmer. When it came down to losing his garage, his last bit of income from repairing old farming equipment, he knew he had to do something drastic. Using Pa's old journal, he found the artifact buried in a small bit of timber alongside one of the old fields. It took a bit of work to get to it, an old knobby black tree having grown over where it was buried. Yet again, he messed up. Instead of granting what he wanted, the police found his corpse the next day, his severed feet floating in a small pond beside the barn. Whatever he unleashed wasn't done, though, as subsequent property buyers, along with trespassers and dare seekers, were found dead, with their severed feet floating in the same pond. It wasn't long before the killer got the nickname of Dead Feet Fred, and the farm was abandoned. Seth theorized the artifact may be related to those things in the forest. If we're going to learn about them, we need the artifact. So we get in, get it, and get out before it realizes we're there. Whatever the killer is, it takes a bit to get it riled up, and according to one survivor, it won't go into the pond. If we get into it, head to the pond and let it cool off before trying again. Be careful though, not all the feet for every victim are found. Occasionally they still bob up to the pond's surface. So we're going to be using a couple different rules, and we'll go over in the table in a second. There is a pool of water in the one quadrant. That's going to act like a spotlight or a light token. So any survivor that runs into it, the killer will no longer be able to target them. It'll have to target somebody else. However, for every subsequent round they spend in the water, they gain a point of terror as feet and other things bob to the surface. I'm also using digging for the artifact. So there's 4 points of interest on the board. The last one will be the artifact. And then once they get it, they need to get back to the car to get out. And back to the car means within about 1 inch. And then the other's anger. For every 2 points of interest investigated by the character, the killer will add 1 wound to all the damage dealt to that character. So it gets more powerful over time. It is a custom ethereal killer who has the tireless and stalking as a tireless trait. So, and the stalking MO. So it will always basically be targeting one character all the time and going after them until they're dead, or unless they run into the pond. There's no sources of light outside of Seth's ability to turn on his flashlight, and we're going to be playing for 11 turns. So let's get to play. So as you can see, we have the pond. So that's where they can go to lose the killer. They actually have to go into it, not just on the dock. We have a crashed car. That's a point of interest for investigation. The pond for investigation. We have the garage here, which has a point of investigation on top of this one crate. And then we have another one inside the garage, or inside the barn. So, and it's right here. So you can see that's where they have to investigate. And we'll pull the roofs off as things get a little bit farther along. That's where they're arriving. I also have these killer tokens. They're just here to remind me that there's jump scares as they approach the various objects. So the objects are the barn, the garage, the pond, and the car. And then we have our fright tokens. We're going to start one in this quadrant and in that quadrant for whenever they get close to them. So, and then we have the killer, which we'll be using this guy for whenever he pops in. It's round 1. So we start with the fright phase. We check character terror. There's no worries. None of them are scared yet. We roll for fright tokens to see if they activate. So turn 1, the only way they activate is if we roll a 10 on a d10 on the first round. 7, so they don't activate yet. So we do that. Then we do generate the fright tokens, which we already have 2 on the board, so no new ones will come in. And then it'll be the killer phase. Nothing happens to the killer because he has no chance of coming out right now. Then we do go on to the character turn. So each character gets a long and short action. We have the variety of, you can tell how many times I've supported, you can tell how many times I've supported Black Site Studio game Don't Look Back game stuff. This is their latest measuring tool that has little notches for movement. So I think we're gonna have, I think we'll have Alice and Elliot go check out the car, since I actually think we're gonna send them to the pond and the barn first and kind of work way backwards. That way, if I find it, it's an easier run. So I just gotta stay out 4 inches from that so I don't get frightened by it. But the car also is a jump scare, so the car is also a jump scare, so I need to stay with 2 inches optimally outside of that to not trigger it. We're using the rural jump scare list, which is optional, slightly different but more fitting. So Alice gains 1 additional quick, so she's going to do a double. She's going to do a triple move. She's going to use her long action as a quick, or she's going to do 2 quicks plus that quick, so she'll get 3 moves. She has a 5-inch movement, so she actually moves real quick. So she's going to go that way. We'll move her a little bit farther over so she doesn't get within 2 of that. And then 5. And then she'll have to make sure she doesn't trip. As long as I don't roll 1, she should be fine. So she doesn't trip. So we'll just move this over here so you can kind of see where we're going. So she's heading directly there. We'll go ahead and have Max back her up. He's got to move a 4. He'll be a little slower. Let's make sure he doesn't trip. He doesn't. And then we're going to have the other 2. We'll have Denise go first. She's got a movement of 4. There we go. And then we'll have Max go. Max is the slowest. I actually don't want Max to go to the barn because he's so slow. It takes him forever to get back. So I'm actually going to have him go to the garage. Oh, let's make sure Denise doesn't trip. And then he goes 3. And then another 3. And he's fine. Oh, I made a mistake. You don't roll trip if they don't have any terror yet. And since they don't have any terror, they're fine. Okay, that's round 1, so they're just kind of spreading out. We'll go to round 2. So we need to check to see what the fright tokens do. In round 2, we would normally be, so it's round 2, normally we would be flipping lights on and off, but there's no lights. We got to see if the fright tokens activate. So on a 6+ now they'll activate. So they still don't activate, which is great. So they'll stay where they're at, kind of avoid them. And then the killer still won't activate because he's not on the table. He can only be placed on the table. There's a couple different ways, but mainly fright tokens or jump scares. So we'll go ahead and have Alice activate. She's going to take her 5-inch move, and then she'll take another one. Not quite a full one, so she can investigate that action. It is an awareness check, so it's a D20. I need to get 12 or lower. She can't focus right now, so 8. So she successfully investigated this point of reference. Oh, we also need to roll a jump scare because she got really close to the pond. So that's a D10. So a 6, old machinery. Holden. She could see something just inside, close to the dock, like something maybe floating in the water that wasn't a foot. So she can make an awareness check, and if she succeeds, she can draw a random equipment card. So let's see what it is. If she fails, she takes 3 wounds because assume she like smacks her hand or does something against the boards. 4, so she succeeded. Actually succeeded really well. So let's shuffle these item cards. So while she's investigating, you know, like she's pulling up boards. She finds maybe an old box that she thought may have been the, where the artifact was hidden. And instead of the artifact, she finds... I'll throw these all over the place. An Uzi. So apparently the farmer has been buying some stuff on the black market. So she now has an Uzi. Next, since she's already done there, and since she was able to successfully investigate that, I'm going to send Max this way. So he's going to do this 4-inch, 4-inch, and then we'll do hers. So she'll go along with him. We'll stay a little bit outside of that fright token. And then Seth, poor Seth, only 3-inch movement. So we'll swivel this camera. So Seth got his 3-inch movement right here, so he'll do his another 3-inch. It's not going to be quite enough to get him in there, but he's also going to make a jump scare since he got so close. All right, Seth, are you going to summon the killer already? 8. So for a jump scare, that is Strange Shadows. They watch the shadow slither to the floor and undulate towards him. He gains 2 points of terror. In addition, the character is going to turn to face a random direction. So we'll have him just, random is wherever this points. So it'll be that direction. And then he gains 2 points of terror. It's fine. Seth scared himself of all the shadows. All right, and then that's round 2. So we're almost there. Maybe they'll survive, at least until the second part of this trilogy. We go to round 3. So first we do fright tokens. It's round 3, so we'll see if they activate. They activate on a 5. 5, yeah. They activate on a 5+, 10. So they activate. So let's see what they do. 5, what was that? Move the fright token 6 inches. Okay, so this one will move 6 inches towards the closest character. So it's probably going to be her. So it's going to move that way. The other one, let's see what it does. 4. It's going to do the same thing. What was that? So it's going to move closer to here. It's going to basically be right under her. Let me see if I can get both those. There we go. Okay, so that moved under her. So when she activates this turn, she and Holden are going to get a point of terror. To clarify, we started with fright tokens on the board. If they don't activate, you're supposed to add another one to the center. I didn't do that for the first couple turns. We'll start doing it after this. It's been a while since we played this, so I think I missed that rule from the beginning. All right, so she's going to get point of terror, and then Max is going to gain point of terror. So we'll activate Alice first and have her move back. Actually, let's go ahead and have Max and Denise. We'll do Denise first. So she's going to get her point of terror for activating next to a fright token. Max will as well. So that means I now can trip on a roll of 1. I'm going to have her go first. I've already marked down. So she's going to go 4 inches. And then we'll have her, she'll get right here, and then we'll have to make a horror check. We'll have to make a jump scare check since she got close to the board. So she got a 3. Tangled in barbed wire, they become tripped. So as she gets close, she falls. Maybe she's running from whatever the fright token is doing to her. So she's going to become tripped. She takes a point of, she takes damage. So she fell. She takes 1 point of wounds. That's in the end of her second phase, so she didn't quite make it into the barn. So let's do Max next. He's going to also go 4 inches. So he's also going to have to roll as he gets closer. And we'll see what they do. Jump scare. 7. That is Strange Shadows. So he's going to turn to face a random direction. Similar to Seth, he's seeing stuff moved, and like it's a ghost. So maybe it is starting to manifest. So Max gets 2 points of terror, and then he turns to face a random direction. So we'll just use a D20. So he turns this way. So he's just like seeing all kinds of strange stuff and looking around, maybe hearing strange noises. Okay, and then we want Alice. Yeah, because both her and Seth have like an equal chance of spawning the killer at this point from a jump scare. So she's going to move. She's going to do her triple move. So 5, actually, 5, and then she's going to do another one. I don't think she doesn't have any terror, so she can't trip, but she is going to roll a jump scare as she got closer to the car. 8 for a jump scare, so that is Strange Shadows again, so it's just happening everywhere. So she'll go look in that direction, and then she gains 2 points of terror. Okay, put those right here. All right, and then finally Seth in his then we're going to do Seth, who's now inside the building. Or almost, yeah. So now we do Seth. He's getting close to that in the building. He's already done his jump scare. So he just needs to do 3 and then 3. He'll have to roll to see if he trips. He has terror of 2. All those shadows, he doesn't trip. He's fine. So all the characters made it where they need to be, except for the barn. So now we go to turn 4. Turn 4, top of the round, the killer, the fright tokens. So let's see if they activate. They activate on a 4. So now the fright tokens activate. They activate on a 4. 10, so they definitely activate. I don't put any new ones out. So let's see what this one. Let's see what this one does. It will 6. It's going to do, what was that? It'll move 6 inches. So it's basically going to be right under her again. So when she starts, she'll get another terror. Then that one, let's see what that one does. 1, what's wrong with the lights? There's no lights, so there's no flickering of lights. That one's kind of a gimme for the characters. All right, so let's start at the barn. We'll start with Denise. So she's going to spend a quick action to pick herself up. None of the doors are going to be locked in this scenario, considering it's an abandoned farm. Normally you'd have to do an action to break in, but we're going to give that to the characters. Yeah. So then they get to go into the barn. She's only going to make it in a little bit. So let's see if we can get this on camera. We'll take this out of the way. So she's just going to make it in 4 inches into the front door. So she's not going to quite make it. Then Max is also going to follow her. He's going to go 4. He'll actually make it to it. They both need to roll another trip check. They both have a variety of terrors. So Denise, oops, wrong die. So Denise trips again. So she's going to take another point of damage. She's going to fall if she gets in there. Maybe she's just getting really scared. She's going to face, well, it doesn't matter facing because she tripped too. It's not the shadows. And then Max is fine. So Denise is pretty much scared out of her mind, keeps running. Let's switch over to here. And we'll have Alice go. She gains a point of terror automatically by activating next to a fright token. Then she's going to roll her investigation, which is, or her awareness, which is a 12 to investigate that point of interest. So she needs a 12. She didn't make it, so she's stuck there. Then Seth, who's over in the barn or in the garage, he's going to, now he can concentrate. He also has +2 to his awareness, so he's going to give a 1 quick action to concentrate plus his bonus +2 for once a turn for, well, actually, that gives Seth like a 17. So yeah, he investigated this one. It is not in the garage. All right, so the characters are done. We go to round 5. Fright tokens will activate on a 3+. They both activate. The one under her, we roll a 2. That's the lights again. And then the one here, 7. What was that? So we just move it 6 inches. I think the closest one is still going to be Max, maybe? No, actually it's going to be her. So they're going to kind of converge over here. Move towards her. We're going to go back to the barn for the character's turn. Yeah, the killer will activate. No matter what, he'll show up on round 6. So he's going to activate next turn no matter what I do. He's going to show up. So we have 2 of the tokens gone, so he's going to get +1 to wound. And then if he shows up on always activate, he deals an additional wound and terror. So he may just show up and kill somebody. Alice is going to stand up. Actually, let's have Max go first because he can investigate. He'll concentrate. I don't think Max is the best. His awareness is 10. He's going to focus. He's going to focus, so it's a +2. And he'll give up both his actions to do this. So it's now in the car. We know that for sure. So he checked out the barrels. Nothing came about it. Alice is going to pick herself up as a quick. And then she's going to move a quick out. So it's going to put it right about here. Since she only did 1 action, she doesn't have to worry about tripping. We'll do Seth next. He's just going to do a double move, and he'll have to see if he trips. Where are you at, Seth? He's got 2 terror. It's fine. Denise needs to now do her final check. So they may actually survive and get out and get this, but I suspect once the killer shows up, he's going to kill at least one of them. Denise is going to focus, so it gives her +2. Her awareness is 8, so she doesn't really have too good of a chance of doing this, so she fails again. And then when she activated, she does get 1 point of terror from the fright token, and the other one's not quite close enough, but it's getting super close. Okay. That's the end of that round for the character, so we'll go to round 6. Top of the turn, the killer shows up. Fright tokens always activate, so we'll do the fright tokens first, and then we'll place the killer. So let's see what this one does. 1 just flickers the lights. The one in the middle, 3, same thing. So they both just kind of flicker with the lights. So then it's Seth's turn. He's sitting. Oh, I'm not sorry. It's not Seth's. So then the killer shows up. This particular killer has stalking, so he'll be 6 inches away from and outside of the character with the lowest movement value. So it's gonna be Seth. So 6 inches away. We'll say that once Seth investigated the barn, he popped up right behind him. Okay, so he's gonna go after Seth. He moves a D10 +2 because Seth has 2 points of terror. So he's going to go right at Seth. He's then going to do both of his attacks. So he'll do his Unearthly Wail. So he'll attack everybody within 10 inches by screaming as he shows up. Seth's the only one that's going to be close to that. Let's see if I can get this a little bit closer in. There we go. So Seth is going to take, and because this is turn 5, Seth's going to actually get hurt quite a bit. So Seth's going to take 2 points of terror and 2 wounds from that. So he also gets an additional wound because the tokens for the special roll, because there's 2 of them that have been investigated. The last one hasn't been. So he's up to 3 wounds. Then attack 2. So it is a combat 12. The killer needs to roll a 12 or less. 15. He gets +1 for every point of terror on Seth, and Seth is extremely frightened right now. So he has 4 points, so he needed a 16. So he hits Seth. He's going to do wounds equal to the character's current points of terror. So he has 4 points of terror. So he's going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And then plus an additional 1 from the fact that he activated this late in the turn. So Seth has 1 point of life left. Killer comes out of nowhere, targets Seth, almost kills him in 1 turn. Poor Seth. We still have to get the last token and get out. Okay, so let's start. I don't want to do Seth yet. Let's start with the kids in the barn. So we're going to have Max. He'll do a double move. So he'll have to roll for terror, but it's going to be 4, 4, so that's going to put him right around there. We'll see if he falls. He does. So he trips and takes a point of damage. He probably heard Seth wailing in pain. So Max takes a wound. Then we're going to have Denise also do a double move. So we'll see how far she can get. So 4, 4. They're heading to the car. See if she trips. She's fine. So they're tripping over each other, trying to get out. We'll do Alice next because we really got to get this. If Seth falls, we need to get this investigated. She's going to focus again, which will give her a +2 on top of her awareness of 8. So she needs a 10. She fails. She has another quick action. She's just going to stay where she's. I'm sorry, Alice has a awareness of 12, so she had 14, but I still failed. Yeah, she can't see what's happening with Seth. Nobody can, because you have to be within line of sight. All right, so we're going to turn back to poor Seth, who is probably going to die this turn. He's all right. He's going to do a shuffle away. After this, he's going to have to test to make sure he doesn't trip, but he'll move 2 inches away from the killer. So he's moving right here. He needs to see if he's going to trip. It's an awareness. It's just an awareness check. He's going to use his one-time bonus of +2, so he's fine. That was his long. That was his quick action. Stumble away. He's going to place a light token. He's going to use one of his batteries and place a light token right here. So that'll remove a point of terror from him. So a little bit less likely to trip. And then he's going to go ahead and make another move. I don't know what he's going to do because he is hurting. And the killer is most likely going to finish him off. See if he trips. He doesn't trip. Sorry, Seth. He might just be a victim. All right. That's all the characters. Round 7. The fright tokens always activate. So we'll see what that one does. 2, that's just the light one. This one, 5, that one's going to move closest. So Denise will have that to deal with. So let's do the characters. Oh, actually, it's the killer. All right, we did that. We flip light tokens. So Seth's poor flashlight turns off. Killer phase, he's going to move a d10 plus for every point of terror. So he moves 6 inches. That's more than enough to get to poor Seth. He'll then scream, which will kill Seth immediately. I don't think anybody has a long enough. So her awareness, 2, 4, 6, 8. She's facing the wrong way. She should technically be facing the car. So nobody is going to see Seth die. And the killer scream is 10 inches. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 8. All right, so Denise is going to hear it. Seth is dead. Nobody heard him die, but they heard the scream. Denise is going to get a 1 wound and 1 point of terror. But she's actually going to get an additional wound and terror because of the killer arriving so late. Oh, wait. Yeah. Then Since he killed that one, he's going to do Savor the Moment, so he'll pop off the board since he killed Seth. Seth's body's right there. And then the characters will activate. So a lot depends on her actually successfully searching. So she's got an awareness 12. She's going to focus to give her +2. That'll be a 14. She finds it. So they found what they needed to find, the artifact. It was in the car. And then she'll take a quick move, 5 inches to the car. So she's not quite, whoops, that stays back. That stays there. She will gain a point of terror, though, from the fright token. And she didn't double move, so she doesn't trip. We'll go back here. We'll do Max first. So Max will take a quick action to stand up. And then he will move 4 inches. So he gets to there. He doesn't need to roll tripping. And then Denise will... Actually, they both get a point of terror because they activate so close to that fright token. Denise is going to do a double move. Or she's going to do one move. Oops, I don't move that. So she's going to move her 4 inches. She's going to call and use her special ability. So she calls somebody on her phone. So she can place down a supporting figure. So we have a police officer arriving. We're going to place him over here as if he just suddenly showed up out of the blue. Let me see if I can. So we're going to place him over here as if he suddenly showed up out of the blue. He heard her call for help. Then she's going to make another move, 4 inches, towards the car. Let's see if she trips. She doesn't trip. That's all the characters. So then we go to turn 8. We'll see the fright tokens always activate. So this one, we'll see what it does. 7. So it'll just move to the closest person, which will be Denise. We'll see if the other one activates. 2, the lights flicker. So this will flick back on. But then when we go to the... Oh, actually, we'll say Seth, when he died, this flash... the flashlight could still be on, actually. So flipped on, but then we go and we flip it back off. Then Killer will come back because he took it one turn to savor the moment, so he left. But he always comes back. He'll target the person with the lowest movement. Actually, I'm sorry. He's going to target the supporting character. So he gets placed 6 inches away. And then he has to roll to get to the supporting character, which is a D10. 3. He'll then scream, which will do, we'll just use these. It'll do 2 points of damage. Well, they found the artifact, so it's actually going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 points of damage to the poor supporting character. I was wrong. Actually, for supporting characters, it goes twice as fast. So it's actually going to get right to him. When it screams, though, it's going to instantly kill him. That's not going to be within any character's awareness, but its scream is like 10 inches. So it's going to target everyone. So she's going to hear it. Alice will take a point of terror and 3 wounds from it, from its blood-curdling cry as it murders the supporting character. And it's not going to leave the board because it's a supporting character. We're going to have it stay there as if it's not going to save her. It's going to wait. So if they don't get to the car, all of them, which Max is not going to, it's going to start targeting. We'll probably have it target Max because he's the slowest. Okay, so then the characters activate. She's going to go here, and then she's got an ability for her megaphone. Actually, she's got that Uzi. What's the range? Ammo 10. Her awareness is 12. If she turns and faces, she could fire at him. So let's have her do that. So she moved. It's one quick action. She pulls this old Uzi that is luckily loaded. And she's just going to open up, shooting him. Her combat, though, is 8. So she'll focus to make it a 10. She has no chance of really driving him off at this point, but maybe she can wound him. 4. She will hit him. He only takes 1 wound. I will put that on his card. Because he's ethereal, so the bullets kind of splatter through him, but she starts opening up with this Uzi and somehow manages to hit him as she's screaming. Then let's do Denise. So she'll do a double move. Oh, she'll take 1 point of terror for being on the fright token. She's getting super scared. More of a chance to trip. But at this point, the best thing would be just to get out of here. And then she'll roll to see if she trips. She's got 5 points of terror. She trips again, but at least she's at the car this time. So she's going to take a wound from that. She's getting pretty banged up. She's got 4 wounds. And then we're going to do Max. Max is also going to take a point of terror. And then he's going to try to run. He'll do 4. And then 4, which is unfortunately ends up on that. Let's see if he trips. He trips again. They're just all screaming and trying to run away to the car as the killer is here. So Max, you take another wound. And then it'll be the top of the next turn. So turn 3. Let's see what the fright tokens do. 5. This one's already at the closest character. 10. So actually, the killer is going to spawn. So he kind of flips over here. All of a sudden appears, going after Max, of course, because he's the one that's farthest back. The killer will go. Max has 5 points of terror, so this will be a D10. Let's see if we can get this on camera. There we go. It'll be a D10 plus 5. 13, so he makes it to Max. Max is also tripped, so he gets an additional plus 2. He's going to scream. So the scream's going to do 2 points of terror, 3 wounds. And then they're all going to take that. So, or they're all going to take, so 3 wounds on Alice, terror, 3 wounds on her, terror. And that's, it gets bonuses from having arrived so lately, as well as the artifact's been found. So it's super angry. Denise and Alice are both in bad shape, but Denise's terror is right at her max. But I think ultimately, as long as he's going to kill probably Max here. So he makes an attack. Max's terror is 7. So he kills Max. Denise is facing the car where he was, so Denise doesn't see it. Alice is tripped, so she doesn't see it. So they don't see him die. Kills Max. And then we'll go to their turn, which they just get in the car and leave. So basically, Alice and Denise found the artifact. Seth and Max, unfortunately, did not make it off the farm. Wow. Okay, so let's go over what happened. The squad shows up. Denise right away, man, she just ran for the pond, and then was able to investigate that right away. Alice ran. So Alice ran to the pond right away. Was able to investigate that pretty quickly. Seth and Denise went to the barn. They had a lot of issues in the barn, a lot of issues getting back from the barn. And then poor Seth, he didn't make it very far. He just went to the garage and basically got murdered as soon as the guy showed up. As soon as the killer showed up. And then poor Max on the way trying to get back to the car trips, and that ultimately does kill him. But it does let the girls get away, although the one supporting character was also killed. We're doing a trilogy, so we'll have that supporting character. She'll no longer be able to call the officer. We're using the bonus rules, so that was Bob Hickens, security guard. So one of her dad's private security guards, she called in for help. Slaughtered instantly, but managed to distract the killer. Otherwise, more than one of the survivors would have killed. For this scenario, as long as 2 make it back, it's a win. They just really just need to get the artifact. So that was a lot of fun. I'll post a link to the scenario if anybody else wants to play it. And then we'll do this as a trilogy, so then we have to do the follow-up one where the killer comes back. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, share. I'll see you next time.